So, a lot of people right now are feeling a lot of uncertainty about the future and, feel really kind of shaken at the core with this COVID-19 pandemic. What would you say to those people that are feeling that way that could help?
Well, I think the first thing I would say is that it's normal to feel shaken. It's normal under these circumstances to feel uncertain because we've never experienced anything like this before. Nothing even close to this, and certainly in our generation or even in generations before us, immediately before us. Um, and so, I think it's important to acknowledge that it's permissible in some sense, psychologically, to feel pretty shaken. That's a normal response to something like a pandemic, to something like more or less like a world crisis. Perfectly appropriate. That doesn't mean that we should necessarily abide in a state of intense doubt and uncertainty and anxiety, but certainly it's appropriate at this stage, I think, to be feeling that, to be experiencing that. If you're not shaken by something like this, then I'm more concerned about that. I would be more concerned about somebody who's not rattled by this, frankly,
Mm-hmm.
because that means that there's something about their perception of events, as far as I'm concerned, that is probably pretty distorted or just not consistent with reality. It's a scary time, so it's normal to feel scared, shaken, uncertain during events like this. Perfectly
And what
normal.
can they do with those feelings, though? When it
Well,
gets
I don't know if there's
overwhelming.
anything they need to do with them other than to observe them. I think I think we have this idea that if we have a feeling and it's unpleasant, that somehow we have to get rid of it. But the problem with that mindset is that the more you attempt to get rid of a feeling in that state of mind, often the stronger that feeling becomes. You set up an internal conflict. So it actually intensifies the very feeling you're trying to rid yourself of, oftentimes. So I don't think that's always a good approach. I think a better approach is something from what's called acceptance and commitment therapy, says that we need to learn to accept that we have these internal reactions and change our relationship thereby to these internal reactions. Instead of thinking or panicking because we're thinking a certain way or feeling anxious or having a certain kind of reaction, we need to take a step back and recognize that, of course, I'm going to have this. This is a bad situation I'm in, or this is an uncertain or novel situation I'm in. Of course, I'm going to have these kinds of feelings. And by kind of reconfiguring that in your mind, by changing your relationship to that internal state, oddly enough, you feel a little bit more empowered. You feel like you have a handle over it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks.